Hello, everyone. My name is Monica Gleberman, and you're listening to Silence on Set podcast. On today's podcast, we're talking to Kai Bradbury about season 4 of Virgin River, which just released on Netflix. So here is Kai Bradbury talking about what fans can expect for this upcoming season. Okay, so I'm going to start. I'm so excited to have you today. So thank you so much for joining me. So I wanted to basically just kind of jump right in. Obviously, one of the most recent things I've seen you on, I was lucky enough to get a bunch of screeners for Virgin River. And I'm so excited about your character. You're kind of like one of the new kids in town, and you kind of come in and we meet you. And I love how they introed you. But I guess before I kind of get into that, I wanted to ask you, how did this role come about? Because you've been in The Boys, one of my favorite roles, by the way. Even I wish you were on longer. I wish you were on longer, but you're so great in that show. So how did this kind of like fall like in your lap, this role?
Well, I initially auditioned back in 2020. We had just sort of come back. The industry had shut down for a bit, and we were just getting back into the swing of things. And I ended up shooting that kind of cliffhanger scene at the end of season 3, not long before Christmas. So that was kind of my intro into the show. And then when we always kind of knew the character was going to come back, and so it was great to be approached to do a series regular moving forward from there.
I was so happy that they brought Denny back because it was so like when they introed you, you were like, well, wait, who's he related to, and what's going on, and how is he related to someone? And there were so many questions that kind of came up. So when you get the script and you kind of read your kind of introduction into this like little community of Virgin River of this crazy group, when you read that as an actor, how do you prepare? Because I don't know if they give you a ton of background, if you're kind of just finding out as you go, but what do you do to prepare for that? Because as viewers, we don't really know what's going on yet until kind of season 4. We find out much more, I guess I would say, in season 4 as to what you're doing there and who you're related to and kind of what happens. So how do you prep for that as an actor?
Right. So, I mean, Virgin River, of course, is based on a very successful book series by Robin Carr. And so my first instinct was to just pick up the first book that Denny appears in and kind of get a little bit of information from the book. However, our Denny ended up being very, very different from the book adaptation. So expect lots of changes there. But otherwise, when I shot that cliffhanger scene in season 3, I didn't have any other scripts. I didn't know where the character was really going. So it was up to me and the director and the producers and everyone to just kind of build a blip of who Denny was for that scene. That still allowed us lots of space moving forward to kind of build off on who he was going to become.
And so do you work, I guess if you had that idea in the beginning, right? And you kind of develop like what you need as a background to kind of intro him into the show, and you have that cliffhanger. And now in season 4, we have much more of an arc and finding out a lot more about him. Does that alter or change your view of his background? Do you start adding in little bits in your like mind as an actor as to why he's doing the things he's doing? And like, do you like develop like a backstory, or do you just kind of go based off the page and what they're kind of telling you for each episode?
Well, as many other art forms, it's such a collaborative effort. And so really what I'm doing is I'm taking the information that the script writers and showrunner are giving me at face value, and kind of making a little bio of who Denny is and how he would live and exist. And of course, I'm making other choices for myself that maybe don't ever come to fruition. But yeah, there's lots I know about Denny as well, just from conversations that maybe haven't appeared in the show yet. So yeah.
So what can you, it's so difficult because like I have so many questions about season 4, but like what can you kind of like tease a little bit for fans? Cause I mean, people are super obsessed with the show. I mean, when we were so excited after season 3 that there was an announcement that it was renewed. I've obviously seen all of season 4, so I'm like so excited for people to see your development in particular, because I think there's a lot of things people just don't expect that's going to happen with your character. But what can you kind of tease about it a little bit without giving like too much away? Because we don't want to spoil too much for people, and then even when they start watching it, I know like some people don't binge it all right away. But what can you
Totally.
kind of tell us a little bit about what they can expect to see him from?
Well, I just want to touch on the fact that, we have such an amazing fan base. Like you said, I mean, we just started shooting season 5 yesterday, and it's so exciting. Like there's a buzz in the studio about starting, and so I guess I don't know what to tease so much as say that, over these 3 seasons that the audience has seen already, they've come to know and love these characters. And like you said, he's kind of the new kid in town. So I love that my character gets to keep the audience guessing and have him meet all of the people in the town, and kind of explore for themselves as we start to lay out the breadcrumb trail. What is Denny really up to in Virgin River? Why is he there? What does he want? And what is he hiding?
Good way of saying it. So what was it like for you? Just obviously as a person, you're walking on a set. I know you started obviously in season 3, but you walk on a set. They all kind of know each other. Everyone's been kind of doing this thing for a while. You are the new kid, quote unquote, in the show, but like you're a new person on the set with all of these actors. So what was that like for kind of like your first day? And compared to like now where you're filming season 5, so now you've been working with these people for a year, 2 years, since you started. So what has that like contrast been?
Oh, so cool. I mean, it was definitely nerve-wracking stepping in to this show, that's really made a huge splash. I think it took everyone by surprise, and it should no longer be a surprise because it's such a lovely show. But yeah, I went from definitely like kind of nervous and excited to comfortable right away. I mean, everyone on the show is so nice, genuinely, to the core, and um, everyone is generous, so skilled, and willing to kind of do anything to make each other feel at ease so that we can make the best show that we can make. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, I love this show so much. And I think like some of the best parts of it are all the interactions with everybody. I love your interactions with Doc, like not to like spoil anything, but just like the interactions that you have with him. I think we saw some of it at the end of season 3. So I think that's okay to say. I'll double check it to make sure I don't give anything away. But I just love the interactions that you have with all the characters and kind of meeting this like cool group. And it's almost like I think people love the show because the town, right? I would love
Hmm.
to live in a town where it's like everybody knows everybody. There's a bar everybody hangs out with. You have your good old fashioned doctors that like visit your house and, come see you. And I just think it was such an interesting kind of comparison to have you come in, whereas when the show started, we have a nurse coming in, right? And that's kind of her point of view, and that's where we're coming from. And now we've established this kind of group of kind of crazy, kooky characters that live in this town. And we have, Denny coming in. So did you find any of it, relatable or like a place where you would like want to live? Like that's for me one of the biggest things when I watch the show. I just go like, I just want to live there. I just want to be with these people. I want to hang out with these people. So I wonder what it's like filming. Obviously, like, yes, you're on sets and you're seeing all of these things. Like, it's not as glamorous probably as we see on TV, but it looks so much fun. Like, it would totally be somewhere I'd want to live and just like get to know. So, what is that like feeling like to be on one of those shows? It's almost like Gilmore Girls, where it's like, that base of like that community, this like
Hmm.
specific community of the same characters that you're seeing and what they're kind of going through. So, how is that like to, I guess, to be a part of? Because now you're part of this community and you're going to be part of it for the next, hopefully, few years, let's say, if it keeps getting renewed.
Totally. Yeah, well, I mean, it's my life feels like a perfect middle ground in that because I'm such a city kid at heart.
Mhm.
And so I love being in a big busy city. But at the same time, all those locations that we shoot in are real places, and they all happen to be in and around my hometown. So I just the other day, a friend and I went and hiked a mountain called the Chief, which is in Squamish, BC, where we film a lot of the riverbank stuff. That's where Jack's Bar is, or at least the outside of it is. So it's really cool to live where people kind of dream to come to. I mean, I pinch myself all the time. Our nature here is beautiful. Yeah. So
That's like that would be so crazy because for you, I think on like one aspect, like you live in the actual area that they film in, but yet I'm assuming like you view it in different ways when you're acting in it. It's one of the most beautiful shows I've ever seen. I mean, like right away, I think back in the first episode, I was like, where are they filming this? And like I looked it up because it's gorgeous. I mean, it's beautiful. These huge long shots that they do where they show you like the whole landscape. So has that changed your view at all too of where you live? Because some people get like complacent, right? Like, oh, I'm so used to like living here, and yeah, I'm gonna go like walk down to this coffee shop and this is what I'm like used to doing. But then you have all these fans that are obsessing specifically about this location, and then you're filming it, so you're viewing it in a different way, or you might be going to different areas that you've never been to. So has that changed your perspective just as a person that lives there? I mean, it's so gorgeous.
Totally.
I can't imagine it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it like you said, it's so beautiful, and it's such a perfect kind of escapist show when people are having a tough time, or people just need some kind of escape. I mean, the show is just going to take you to the beauty of Vancouver and its surrounding areas. Yeah, I mean, Denny is an avid hiker. He's definitely an outdoorsy guy, so in the spirit of that, I've definitely found myself on more runs and hikes, and I'm spending more time outside. And I live near a very big park, and it was kind of a saving grace during the pandemic to, escape to in my own way, and really get back in touch with nature, because it was the only thing that kind of was grounding.
No, and that makes sense. I mean, like I said, because it's so beautiful, and I'm so jealous that you get to live near there. But yeah, it's so beautiful, and it's such a great aspect of the show too. I think a lot of times shows, what's great is when they do have like a little town, you see a lot of the same characters over and over because you feel like you're part of the town watching it. But a lot of shows don't spend the time to show you the beauty of an area or the beauty of the town that they're kind of living in. So to see these huge mountains and riverbanks, and like I mean, it's just unbelievable that these people live there. And I love that they highlight that, because it's such a beautiful thing. And to show it, I think kind of in a non-preachy way also reminds us, to take care of nature and to take care of the things that we're seeing, because it's so beautiful and so many people want to be there. So I love all of those scenes in particular. But for Denny, I wanted to ask you, like, to kind of like shift back to him a little bit. And I know he's kind of like a mysterious-ish character, so it's hard because there's not too much that we can like kind of give away about season 4 with him. But I was wondering for you, what was one of like the major things that you felt like you connected with him on? And what's one of the most difficult things that you had to try to work out to like rectify in your brain to like make it work and become Denny?
Oh, without spoilers.
I mean, I can hold it and put spoilers after.
No. Well,
I know it's hard. I'm sorry.
There was definitely a lot of research to be done. Yeah, I'm just working it out. Lots of research to be done. I mean, Denny's very much like me, actually, in many ways. And so he's been a very comfortable character to play. And some actors might say that actually makes it harder when a character is similar to you. And so I don't know. I think it was easy and it wasn't, to be incredibly vague.
I know I'm asking such hard questions because we don't want to give anything away, because you know why? Because your arc is so good, and because there's so many twists and turns, and there's scenes that we see of you that you might think one thing and then we find out something else, and so there's so much kind of back and forth until you hear like the whole story. So I know like neither of us are like, well, wait, did that happen? Let me check with that, because like we don't want to give anything away because it's so good, and you're so good in it. I mean, you're
Thank you.
so great playing him. So I know it's like a hard question to answer because it's like you don't want to give anything away about it, but it seems so effortless with you. And like I said, I've seen a lot of your work, and your acting feels very effortless. And I know acting is very difficult and very hard, and the amount of work that you have to put into it. So for this character in particular, it just feels like you. It's almost like we're like, oh, I know Kai, like that's what it feels like, and it comes off that way. So
Cool.
I was just, I guess another way of kind of discussing it without giving spoilers is like, how do you do that process, or do you work on that, because it literally comes off just so free and open and very like heartfelt, the way that you act, and it feels very open, and you're very open
Thank
to like
you.
the audience and to like what we're seeing, and I feel like we connect with you in all of the roles that you play, and in particular with Denny right away, I feel like we connect. So what does that feel like for you as an actor, or like do you do certain things to try to make that happen, or it's just like a natural gift that you have, because it comes off literally in everything I've ever seen you in.
That means a lot. Thank you so much. I mean, uh, I think my acting style tends to lend well to naturalism, and I think our show really finds its success in making, you know, pulling at heartstrings and making feel oh wow. I had a long day yesterday. Making
It's all
people
good.
feel, making people feel seen and have that connection. So especially with Denny, more than anything, I really want everyone to um, sympathize with him and connect with him in their own way. So whatever I can do to give an honest performance and really mean what I say and speak from the heart, I think that's where I'm coming from with Denny.
Well, like I said, you do such a good job, and I just like loved him and like liked him right away. And I got very invested at the end of season 3, and I couldn't wait for season 4 to see like what do we find out with him. And I was very invested in his journey. And I think a lot of fans are going to be very invested in what happens and what goes on with him. And we just want to know, like, is he okay? And like, why is he there? And all of those reasons. And we get a lot of those answers in season 4. So I guess I would ask you, what are you hoping that fans get out of kind of getting some answers and seeing the arc that happens with him in season 4? What are you hoping that fans will kind of take away from it? Because he goes through a lot, and I think it's very relatable into what we see.
Oh wow. I just hope that they feel the love, you know, in that community, and I think, you know, every character is showing um, strong kind of morals that I hope that, you know, we stereotype small towns to have, but I really hope that we can carry into our big city lives as well. Um, you know, love your neighbor and treat everyone with respect and you know, push yourself to be uncomfortable and then grow from that. So I hope that everyone is inspired and feels hopeful and gets really excited for season 5 because it's going to be amazing as well.
Well, I'm so excited. I was so happy to talk with you today because, like I said, I just find your acting ability, the stuff that you do, is so beautiful and is so open. And I just feel like everyone connects to you in all of the roles that you've done. And I feel like, fans, we kind of travel with you and we follow, you, because you're such a great actor. And to have you come into a show that's so great and to be able to have the ability to express this character even further was so exciting for me, and you did such a great job. I cannot wait for people to see season 4. Obviously, I'm sure the second they're done, we're going to be wanting season 5 right away. So I'm glad you guys are filming it. But I just want to like thank you like on behalf of fans because when I put out that I was talking to you, they were so excited. I just think we all just love you and just can't wait to see like what Denny goes through and how you kind of navigate it and what keeps going like with his character. And just thank you for all of the work that you've done before. Like I said, on other shows that we've seen you on in movies, you're just so good and I feel like you give so much and we all see it and it's just fantastic to watch you.
Thank you
So
so much, Monica. That means so much.
well, thank you. And then, I should end really quickly. Is there anything that you'd want to say to fans, the ones that follow you and love you, that don't get to talk with you, but are super excited to see your journey?
Oh, thank you so much for watching. I mean, it's we can only keep doing it because you're watching and loving, and we're just so grateful that everyone loves the show that we make because it's a joy to make. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you guys for listening to Kai Bradbury talk about Virgin River. The latest season, season 4, is currently available now, streaming on Netflix. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you're updated on all of our latest podcasts. And make sure you head over to our YouTube channel to see all of our latest video content.